We've got Tony Noonan here at his Mornington stables, and that's the done deal colt that Tony's currently training. He's just come to the end of his first little prep, only here a week. But Tony, it's more about you, this interview. We'll wind it right back. The Noonan name, synonymous. Spring's in the air and the girls are about.
Just a pony.
Working with horses. Yeah, your interest, how'd all that resonate in racing, go back to the very early days?
Yeah, Pete, I, from about the age of 6, I could consciously remember wanting to be a trainer.
Yep.
My mother was heavily involved in racing in her side of the family. There was jockeys, trainers, bookmakers, everything. So, you know, you mate. It was something that, you know, that I always wanted to do. We had to go by different means to get there. I ended up being a school teacher at Assumption College in Kilmore, which was a boarding school. But that gave me not only the freedom to start off without the normal sort of pressure of not having any money. I was able to get a wage and I enjoyed teaching.
Yep. And
there was a lot of skills from that helped me as far as developing a business. So we moved down here in 1990. I gave away teaching. We stepped down here with about 5 horses at the time. When I was teaching, I was training as well. And, you know, we built it up to a business there where we had at our peak 180 on the books and 100 in work. We had 100 in work for about 10 years. Yep. With a stable here and at Caulfield, and we also set up a stable in Perth. Yeah. And, you know, fortunate enough to train some really good horses over that period. Pia Vonick won a Group 1, she won the Manicato beaten Sunline. You know, we've won we won stakes races in every state outside Tassie, got beaten twice in the Cup there in the Derby. But we've won group and listed races all through the country. Lucky enough to take horses to Dubai. You know, if someone had told me when I started that the journey would have been as good as it has been, you know, it's been a dream. So we're at a stage now where we made a decision probably 3 years ago where I was getting tired, just getting to that 60 period and, you know, built a business from nothing and took a lot of energy and just realised for us to be competitive, we had to change our approach, so we decided we'd go smaller so I could enjoy it a bit more. So we're now at a stage where we have about 20 horses in work, which has been terrific. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
The journey, obviously a lot of characters along the way and a lot of mentors, I suppose, and people that you would have picked their brains along the way. I know you mentioned Quinny Scott in one of our conversations, so there'll be a lot of chaps like Quinny along the way.
Oh, I've been blessed, Peter. You know, you're only as good as the people you have around you. And I was lucky enough at an early age. Quinny was my first boss in Benalla. Went up there when I was 18, deferred from uni. Quinny hadn't had much tertiary education in his life, but he'd had plenty of education with just life, and ended up being a great teacher, great master. And we're still, you know, 35 years on, still great mates. So he was a tremendous influence as far as just even those initial stages, but from there, you know, we would speak weekly, and there's a lot of things we toss up, talk a lot of, and but just been a terrific friend. And Mick Robins was another guy that Quinny introduced me to. I was about 35, 36 at that stage and just starting to kick a goal, and met Mick. Mick had trained 2 Melbourne Cup winners and just come back from Singapore, and was good enough to get him to come on. He's been part of my life now the last 20, 25 years. So, you know, without those 2 guys, I would never have got to achieve, really, because they were just good people around me that had experience and was able to tell me what I needed to know.
Beautiful. Here at Mornington, obviously not far from the track, just with your training regime, the beach and all that's that come into play?
Yeah, it does, Pete. We're lucky. We're perfectly located. We're 700 metres from the entrance to the track. We've got the beach facilities down at Balnarring. Yeah. We've got our own walker, our own pool, our own treadmill, and every horse has their own yard. So horses, you know, in this better weather, they get out in the yards, spend most of their time in the yards, and then come in at night. So, no, the property's 5 acres. You know, it's a beautiful property, always well shaded. We've got, you know, good old trees around it. So it's been a terrific place to train out of.
As much as we're close to suburbia, just a quiet, peaceful nature. You hear the birds. Obviously, it's beautiful today here. It's just a fantastic environment for horses.
Yeah, well, it's, you know, it's if God chose to live anywhere to be here, Pete. So,
Not wrong.
But it's a good spot. Horses have always done very well here. Mornington's a very good training centre. It's never got the credit that it should get. It's got good testing sort of tracks. They're uphill. Every track, there's 6 tracks to work from. 5 of them have got the same contour. So horses get very used to. Our horses do well here at Sandown, Geelong, those places where they've got to dig a bit deeper.
Yeah.
They get fit here without putting a lot of pressure on them. And it's always been able to produce, you know, we've never been disadvantaged by it. So, no, it's a, you know, there was a period in my career where we looked at going to Flemington. I'm glad we didn't. I had 4 kids, still got 4 kids, still got 1 wife. And, you know, as far as your own peace of mind, living down here was, you know, just balanced the whole thing really well.
Yeah. Obviously, a connection now with ATB. I know some of the owners in the Dundee Colt that was just here before have had horses with you before, and I think that's where the link started. But just nice to build an association with Darren and Liz Nance.
Oh, look, you know, I've met Darren obviously over a period of time at sales and things like that, and watched his growth and his success, which has been tremendous. You know, both him and Liz are obviously very passionate about what they do, and to be able to get a gig at this stage of my career with such a prominent group, you know, I'm absolutely thrilled. And the young horse they've sent me is a lovely horse. Hopefully we can have good results with it, and, you know, build a good, strong association together.
Just back to family, you mentioned 4 kids. Obviously, Jake, prominent in the game as well. He'd have a hands-on role here to some degree.
Yeah, we get him probably 2-3 times a week, which I think, you know, works perfectly. I'm from probably old school. I like jockeys involved. Yeah. I like them to be as confident as I am about the horses, and they're only going to get that with their own knowledge and involvement. So he rides a lot of work for us. We've got very good staff, but I like him, you know, leading into races to be able to get on. You know, he gets a good he's got a pretty good idea how I train. Yeah. And so, no, it's been another advantage, I think, for our stable, and a lot of enjoyment for me, and I think the clients, you know, to watch that growth of a young bloke, and, you know, he's going really well. So, no, we're in a good spot at the moment. We just need some more group horses, and hopefully we've got some just around the corner.
That's the aim, Tone. Obviously, Jake actually cracked the code, one of Mick Price's for us there. I know he's asked Darren a few times, how come I'm not back in the saddle? But yeah, look, just to wind it up now, obviously, you know, we've got the sprinting type, middle distance types and staying types. Any preference for the horse that you know, to train?
Oh, look, if I had a preference, probably those horses that get a trip. Like I had good horses in Show No Motion. Piavonic was a sprinter. You know, I've been able to. Good trainers can train most horses. I'd like to think we're in that category. But I've got a real love for those horses that get a trip and get to, you know, those good races, time-honoured races. So that would probably be my preference, but I like the fast ones, Pete.
Yeah, we all like the fast ones, don't
yeah.
Just to round it up, obviously we've probably touched on the staying type. We've got the Cox Plate and the Melbourne Cup, if you could only get one.
Yeah, Cox Plate.
Cox Plate,
always wanted to win a Cox Plate. I think it's, you know, it's the race. I know the Melbourne Cup draws a lot of attention, but I think the Cox Plate is just a tremendous race, and I grew up in that area, so there's not many I've missed. I've seen a lot of champions go around in that race, so if we had one that good, it'd be a pretty good party after, Pete.
Wouldn't it be nice if we can come back and look at this video and the little done deal that was here before is that Cox Plate winner? It'd be a big party.
That's what keeps us going.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
just you never know. I haven't trained a Cox Plate. Haven't had a runner in the Cox Plate. I've had a couple of runners in the Melbourne Cup. Haven't had one good enough. So, but while we're breathing and while we've got the energy and enthusiasm, we'll keep aiming at it. And I'd love to win one.
Beautiful. Thanks for your time, Tony.
Good on you, Peter.